welcome back to my channel. Sorry for the dishwasher noise, but it's broken and I can't stop it or else all the water will pour out. So I'm doing this above the noise of the dishwasher and my son, who's having a great time over there. Alright, so this recipe today is for New York City style pizza dough. Let's face it, there's no pizza like New York City pizza. I mean, arguably, Chicago has theirs, deep dish, Boston is a little bit different, but I love New York City pizza, and that's what this recipe is for today. The best New York City authentic pizza crust recipe ever. Alright, so very simple. You're only going to need a few ingredients, and that is flour, olive oil, yeast, some salt, and some warm water. And the water's got to be warm. It can't be too hot, otherwise it's going to kill the yeast. Totally recommend you not measure these items with cups. What you probably should do is measure it with a scale, well, at least the flour. I'll just give you the measurements in grams for the flour, and that is going to be, let's see, 600 grams of flour. So depending on what type of flour you use also, that's going to determine how long it's going to take your pizza dough to rise. The closer to wheat flour, the longer it's going to take to rise. There's nothing wrong with it. You could do it with wheat. Just be prepared to wait a little bit longer. So I have a stone ground white whole wheat flour here. So it's kind of in the middle. But like I said, if you're using 100% whole wheat, you might as well double the times for everything. So I'm going to get started. I'm going to measure out my 600 grams of flour into my mixing bowl, and I'll be right back. Alright, I've just measured out my flour. It's 602, close enough. And after I just told you to be really accurate too. Oh well. And to that I'm going to add the other dry ingredients, which is 1 tablespoon of dry active yeast. I buy mine in bulk, so I'm not quite sure how much that is for a packet. You know, if you just buy the packet ones, it's better to buy it in bulk and just measure it out with a scoop. And 2 teaspoons of Himalayan sea salt. I would use kosher salt. I wouldn't use like table salt for that because it's just not going to taste right. And I'm going to put a splash of olive oil. I'm going to estimate that at about a tablespoon. Maybe I'll just put a little bit more because I like my pizza dough olive oily. And that's really not that much. So what I'm going to do first, actually I shouldn't have put the olive oil in there. I just want to give the dry ingredients a little bit of a stir here just to make sure that everything, you know, that yeast and the salt get well combined in with the flour. Also, now I totally forgot what I was going to say. Never mind. Alright, so now we're going to add the 2 cups of warm water. I'm going to add it all at once. And I'm going to let this mix for about 3 to 5 minutes. I just remembered what I wanted to say. You don't have to do this in a mixer. It's just a heck of a lot easier. To mix this by hand is kind of a chore, but it can be done. So don't feel like you can't do it if you don't have a mixer, because I've done it by hand many, many years before I got my mixer. So just get this well mixed up, 3 minutes, and we'll check back. Right, there you go. It's all mixed up. Now you're going to let it rest for 15 minutes, but the consistency you want it to be is it's still slightly sticky, not really very much. It holds together really well. Just let that rest a little bit, and we will revisit that in about 15 minutes. This is a particularly weedy dough, so you might have to wait half an hour. But at the rest phase, I think you could still probably get away with 15 minutes. The other phase of letting it rise, you're going to have to double it. Alright, it's rested for 15 minutes, and what I like to do is take just a little bit of flour, sprinkle it on, get it all around, punch down if it's risen a little bit, because it's going to be a little bit more sticky once it's, you know, rested a little bit. So I have my dish over here prepared to accept the balls of dough. This makes 3 12-inch pizzas, and I'm going to separate these into 3 equal balls and let them rest in this dish with a dish towel over the top, or some saran wrap. until I'm ready to make the pizzas, which could be up to a couple of hours. I don't have a couple of hours today. Mine's probably going to be about 45 minutes to an hour, depending. So you can keep it in the refrigerator a day in advance if you'd like. But it's going to rise still a little bit, so be prepared to punch it down a little bit if it gets a little out of control. You don't want a I Love Lucy situation on your hands where it comes pouring out. It won't do that, but it'll keep in the fridge if you're not ready to use it right away. Alright, quick little tip. My dish is irregularly shaped. It's oblong, so I make them in these little loaf shapes, but you're probably going to want to make them in circles because you're going to roll them out into your circular pie crust. Maybe you're going to make it on a cookie sheet and you're going to make it into a rectangle. In that case, this is great. But this is what they look like before they rose. Well, here it is after it's risen. And I am going to roll it out now to get ready to go into the oven. I have some cornmeal. I like to do it real official, just like at the pizzeria, so I feel like we're having, you know, special dinner tonight. I like to use these thin, round, non-stick ones. These seem to do the best. A heavier sheet doesn't do well for the pizza. It should be pretty thin. So I'm going to take a little bit of flour, just so it doesn't stick to the roller, put it on the top, and just roll it out like you would roll out a pie crust. Start in from the middle and work your way out to the outer edges. Make sure it's pretty even, and when it all gets rolled out, leave a little lip on the end, just like at the pizzeria, because that's what you're going to hold your pizza with. And you can put any toppings you want on there, like sauce or ricotta or pesto, cheese, vegan cheese, any kind of cheese, provolone, goat cheese. Yes, do it up any way you want. When you get it the way you like it, put it into a preheated, as hot as you can get it oven. You know the pizzeria ovens are hotter than 500 degrees. My toaster oven only goes up to 450, so that's what I'm limited to because my big oven's not really working right. So I'll show you what this looks like after it comes out. It's going to be in there anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes to 25 minutes, depending on how hot you can get your oven. And keep an eye on it because nobody likes to eat burnt pizza. Alright guys, there are the pizzas out of the oven. These are the vegetarian mushroom and cheese pizza. My husband's cutting them up right now. And still in the toaster, I have... Vegetarian. Well, yeah, it could have meat on it. There's the vegan one with the Daya cheese, just as beautiful and just as tasty. Maybe even tastier than just the vegetarian ones. One day he won't be laughing. So I hope you give it a try. It's a really great, simple recipe. And until next time, much love. Edit.